King Edward I reissued the charters of 1225 in 1297 in return for a new tax. It is this version which remains in statute today, although with most articles now repealed. The Confirmatio Chartarum, confirmation of charters, was issued in Norman French by Edward I in 1297. Edward, needing money, had taxed the nobility, and they had armed themselves against him, forcing Edward to issue his confirmation of Magna Carta and the Forest Charter to avoid civil war. The nobles had sought to add another document, the De Tallegio, to Magna Carta. Edward I's government was not prepared to concede this. They agreed to the issuing of the Confirmatio, confirming the previous charters and confirming the principle that taxation should be by consent, although the precise manner of that consent was not laid down. A passage mandates that copies shall be distributed in cathedral churches throughout our realm, there to remain, and shall be read before the people 2 times by the year. Hence the permanent installation of a copy in Salisbury Cathedral. In the Confirmation's second article, it is confirmed that, if any judgment be given from henceforth contrary to the points of the charters aforesaid by the justices, or by any other ministers that hold plea before them against the points of the charters, it shall be undone, and holden for naught. With the reconfirmation of the charters in 1300, an additional document was granted, the Articuli Super Chartas, the Articles upon the Charters. It was composed of 17 articles and sought in part to deal with the problem of enforcing the charters. Magna Carta and the Forest Charter were to be issued to the sheriff of each county, and should be read 4 times a year at the meetings of the county courts. Each county should have a committee of 3 men who could hear complaints about violations of the charters. Pope Clement V continued the papal policy of supporting monarchs, who ruled by divine grace, against any claims in Magna Carta which challenged the king's rights, and annulled the Confirmatio Chartarum in 1305. Edward I interpreted Clement V's papal bull annulling the Confirmatio Chartarum as effectively applying to the Articuli Super Chartas, although the latter was not specifically mentioned. In 1306 Edward I took the opportunity given by the Pope's backing to reassert forest law over large areas which had been disafforested. Both Edward and the Pope were accused by some contemporary chroniclers of perjury, and it was suggested by Robert McNair Scott that Robert the Bruce refused to make peace with Edward's son, Edward II, in 1312 with the justification, "How shall the King of England keep faith with me, since he does not observe the sworn promises made to his liege men?" Quote,